Last night was WrestleMania. I've just woke up, so apologies if my voice sounds a little bit fucked up. But yeah, last night we saw WrestleMania, and usually in these reviews I go through it in chronological order and basically talk about everything that happened and go through, give my thoughts on it. But I think first what I've got to do is I've got to address the elephant in the room. I've got to talk about the Undertaker and Roman Reigns and the main event of WrestleMania before we talk about anything else. A mixture of emotions, really. Sad, angry. It hasn't really changed since I've woke up, if I'm honest with you. Look, the Undertaker retiring, I mean, it's unbelievably sad. This is a man who, if I speak personally for a moment, this is a guy who got me interested in wrestling. You know, this is a guy who, when I saw him wrestle at WrestleMania 26, my first WrestleMania that I actually watched live, he was the man, you know, and that was the match, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, that was the match that said to me, I'm a wrestling fan, and I'm a wrestling fan for the rest of my life, and there's nothing anybody is going to be able to do about that. 28, WrestleMania 28 with Triple H, I mean, it's just unbelievable match. In the end of era. I mean, for me, that's where he should have retired. It would have just been the perfect way to go. He could have gone with a streak intact. Good things wouldn't have come to an end for the first time. We'd have been able to use that when we say the saying. Yeah, I mean, WrestleMania 25 is match there. I mean, I didn't watch it live, but of course I've gone back and watched that match. Just one of the best matches I've ever seen. This is a man who did the most important thing. As a wrestling fan, he made you believe. He made you believe in what you were watching. And that is something very few wrestlers ever are able to do. But he was able to do that. He was able to bring out that emotion. And yeah, I mean, when he retired, it was just like, you know, looking back on the last 7 years I've watched wrestling and just sort of reminiscing about the good times. And a lot of them involved the Undertaker. He might not have been regular in these past 7 years, but even without being regular, he still left an impact on me to the point where, obviously, I've gone back and watched a lot of Undertaker's early work, and in my opinion, this is the greatest of all time. I think he's the greatest character. I saw someone tweet that. I totally agree. Greatest character of all time. I think he's the greatest of all time, and it will be very, very, very sad, but at the same time very amazing to watch him inducted into the Hall of Fame, as I expect he will be next year. The end of WrestleMania, terribly sad. Leaving his hat, leaving his gloves, leaving his coat in the ring. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the Citrus Bowl. There really wasn't. And it was terribly sad. But we all knew it was going to happen, and as I say, for me personally, it should have been 28. It wasn't. We got to see Undertaker go for, another 4 or 5 years, which can't really be a bad thing, but obviously recently we've seen him, and, yeah, I mean, he's not looked as good as he has, obviously. He's obviously getting older and older and older, but still an unbelievable talent, and the fact that he's able to even wrestle the way he does after so many years and years and years, it's just unbloody believable. And he's just incredible. And what an incredible man, what an incredible character. One of the big superstars who always stays in character. And I think a lot of people lose that now in this moment. And I understand it. Social media age. It's impossible to stay in character all the time. But Undertaker was able to do that. And Undertaker was able to do that fantastically. And obviously Mark, at the end there, with a kiss to Michelle McCool, his wife, you know, broke kayfabe for the first time ever. And I think that's when, if you didn't realise at that point that he was retiring, you fucking knew now. So yeah, I mean, WrestleMania 33 will go down as the WrestleMania that Undertaker hung up his boots, or hung up his gloves. And that will be what we remember the WrestleMania for. But with that said, with the fact that I love The Undertaker, I'm very, very sad that it ended. And with his career, that is. The fact that Undertaker as I say, really, he honestly got me interested in wrestling. He honestly made me a wrestling fan, and I can never thank him enough for that. I mean, I never get to meet the guy, but you know what I mean. It's just some incredible wrestling memories I have of the Undertaker and his matches and his promos and just incredible stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, the main event for me it sucked. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it sucked mainly because of the ending. I say this statement and I believe it to be true. Our WrestleMania is only as good as its main event, and that main event was not very good. There are a few botchy moments, and that I can deal with. You know, this is Undertaker, who's 50-odd years of age. There's going to be botchy moments. That's just going to happen. I totally understand that. And again, Roman Reigns put in a decent match. And it's more... I don't hate Roman Reigns. Well, I mean, I don't like Roman Reigns. I hate Roman Reigns because I understand it's not his fault. But... look, I mean, people were moaning about John Cena retiring The Undertaker. That was the big thing a couple of years ago. John Cena's going to retire The Undertaker, blah, 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 blah. And everyone bitched and moaned about it. And I personally didn't have a problem with it. I thought marquee matchup, Cena would be the right guy to retire The Undertaker. Who else could retire The Undertaker that was currently on the roster? And it didn't happen, and we got Roman Reigns. I think Cena will be pissed. Because he wasn't able to have that match with Undertaker. They missed a big money match with Undertaker. But it did nothing for Roman Reigns. If Vince is going to say, well, I'm not giving it to John Cena, fine. And I want to give it to somebody who we can make the next big thing. You know, but Undertaker probably wanted to lose on his last match. It's probably what he wanted to do. And look... booking wise, does it make... I mean, it depends. It depends. Him losing is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not angry because Undertaker lost. If he lost in the right way, even to Roman Reigns, would have been fine with it. But they could have really made a star. Whether it be Bray Wyatt, and I know Bray Wyatt faced him at WrestleMania 31, but why could that not have been where Undertaker, you know, and Bray Wyatt would have run? That would have made Bray Wyatt the next supernatural superstar. He would have passed the baton on. We'll talk about Bray Wyatt in a minute. I'm fuming about that too. It could have been... there's many superstars that it would have made. A Sami Zayn, a Finn Balor. It would have made them superstars. It did nothing for Roman Reigns last night. In my opinion, it did nothing for Roman Reigns. He didn't turn heel. If they'd have turned him heel last night, whether that be with a post-match brawl, whether that be with an ending that so much says he's a heel, then it would have been fantastic. And it would have worked. And I'd have still kind of been pissed off that Roman Reigns got the spot, but I'd have been okay, because you would have had legitimately the biggest goddamn heel that this company likely has ever seen. But Vince McMahon and his stubborn fucking ass couldn't do it. He's more interested about what he wants than what everybody else wants. He's more interested in putting a middle finger up to every single fucking person he sees than doing what is right and what is best for business. And I'm sick to fucking death of it. I'm sick to death of having Roman Reigns forced down our throats as a face when quite clearly he doesn't want to be a face. Quite clearly the fans don't want him to be a face. And quite clearly he is a better goddamn heel. Now, he could still turn heel. I get that. And last night, he was, for most of the match, a heel. But if Triple H is coming out and saying, Roman Reigns is effectively a heel, well, just turn him goddamn heel then. And I know Vince wants him to be the next John Cena. And fine. You're never going to get another John Cena. And I can't stand when people say, I want him to be the next John Cena or the next Undertaker. I want to be the next Shawn Michaels. No, you should want to be you. You know, don't want to be somebody else. But he basically wants Roman Reigns to be the next big face. That's not a surprise. We've known that for, 3-4 years? We've known that basically since he returned at TLC in 2014, I think it was. Or it might have been 2015, I can't remember. He was the man, the guy. But see, the thing I don't understand is that Vince is never going to he's never going to be the face that Vince wants him to be, going down this path of being face. You can make him the biggest face in the company if you turn him heel, has an unbelievable 2-year run as heel, and you turn him back face. People will change their minds if Roman Reigns stops yapping, and when he does, if it's insults, if it's disrespecting legends, if it's disrespecting babyface, if he's running through babyfaces, and he's beating people up, not saying a lot, people will start to like Roman friggin' Reigns. They'll like to boo him, they'll like to hate him, and then when he finally turns back to becoming face, you will have a guy who you have organically turned back to face, who the fans do like. It isn't difficult, Vince. It might take 2 years, but Roman Reigns as a heel is money. Roman Reigns as face is low ratings. I hope the ratings drop for Raw. I really hope they drop. I hope SmackDown fucking pummels them in the next couple of weeks. I really fucking hope that. But still, I don't think Vince will get it. Still, he'll blame probably Brock Lesnar and the fact that he's not on Raw every week. Or blame the fact that, I don't know, the tag team division aren't doing anything. He'll blame something else. He'll always find something else to blame. Because his golden fucking boy, Roman Reigns, could never be at fault. Roman's incredible in the ring. His character is shit. You know, you look at Roman Reigns, you don't think Superman, you think ass kicker, you think don't say much, kick someone's ass. That's the Roman Reigns everybody wants to see. That's the goddamn Roman Reigns people saw in the Shield and liked. That's the Roman Reigns which at 2014 Royal Rumble, when Batista, everyone expected Batista to win the Rumble because they would spoil the Rumble as they do fucking every year. Everybody wanted Roman Reigns. Fast forward 1 year, Vince McMahon's cocked it up because he forced Roman Reigns down our throats. I stand by the fact I don't think Vince McMahon's out of touch. I don't think that's the right way to describe it. I think he is one stubborn son of a bitch. That's what I think. He's not out of touch. But he is a stubborn motherfucker. And the big question for me would be now, and we'd probably never get the answer, but if it was Hunter and Steph involved running WWE, let's say Vince had retired or passed, would Triple H turn him heel? Would Stephanie McMahon turn him heel? I think they goddamn would. And I think if you asked Roman Reigns, he would tell you, I've got to turn heel. And it's so logical. Disrespecting the thing. He's fucking sick and tired of hearing people boo him, give him the negative reaction, bang, he's a heel. It's not fucking difficult. A 2-year-old could write this story because it's sitting right in front of you. And you can edit out the boos. You can make it sound like he's being cheered. But deep down, everybody in the whole entire fucking world knows Roman Reigns is getting his ass booed. No one likes the guy. Everybody wants him to be a face. And you might have the Egyptian and the Indian fans and a few women that love him. That's lovely. But they aren't the ones that buy the tickets to the show. They aren't your hardcore fans that buy the t-shirts, that buy the network subscription. They aren't your fans. If you want to, please the casual fan, then go, be my guest, Vince McMahon. Be my guest. And it's starting to become apparent that is what you are interested in. The casual fan. And once again, like you always do, the middle finger goes up to the hardcore fan that watches week in, week out, pays for the network, pays for the t-shirts, pays to go to the shows, watches the NXT, supports everything you do, defends your product on a daily basis on social media, tries to get the product, but you spit in our face. It's as simple as that. At WrestleMania, The Undertaker retired. Roman Reigns had the best chance to turn heel, but Vince McMahon wouldn't do it. Let's go through WrestleMania in chronological order and talk about the show. We spoke about the main event. A little bit of a rant there. I don't really do rants on here all that often, but I did there, so I hope you kind of got something from it. Let me just get to the fucking results so I can actually go through. Let's start with the pre-show then. We start with an absolutely fantastic match that I will go back and watch. That being Neville and Austin Aries, the Cruiserweight Championship. It should have been the main show, but it's time constraints, I suppose. The main show was nearly it was 5 hours long. And yeah, what a very, very good match it was. Fast-paced. They delivered quick action, some really, really high-risk spots. I mean, Austin Aries thrown onto his neck at one point. That's absolutely brutal. And yeah, it was a great way to start the show. Neville winning the match, which was one of the predictions that I got right. And yeah, I'm not got a problem with that. These two will feud, probably going into payback, and it will probably be another great match. And the Cruiserweight division looking very, very good in the main event scene. Everything else looking pretty shit. But what an unbelievable meteoric rise Neville has had when he's coming to the Cruiserweights. But one of the biggest positives about the Cruiserweights, Austin Aries looked like he belonged. The guy hasn't missed a step. Very, very good match. Up there was probably one of my favourite matches of the night. And yeah, really, really great way to start the pre-show. And we then got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I always say that wrong. It doesn't really matter what order you say it in because it always fucks up. And yeah, Braun Strowman and Big Show basically went on the tear at the start, eliminating people after people. A Big Show eliminated about 4 or 5 people in a goddamn row. Strowman was chucking people over the rope. It was very, very entertaining. And I was like, damn, they missed a trick not having Big Show Braun Strowman again at WrestleMania. They really did, because it would have been a real good match. And it's a shame, because I know I moan at people for moaning that some people aren't on the card, but they could have stuck another match on. They really could have done. And just fucking delete the Pitbull thing. Ziggler, Zayn, Harper, they came and went. Nothing really happened for them. And we were left with Jinder Mahal and Mojo Rawley. Then fucking, I don't even know what his cocking name is. What is his name? Gronk or something like that. I don't know. He came in, he's friends with Mojo Rawley, jumped the fence, and kind of did that moment where WWE want mainstream exposure, lovely, whatever. Mojo Rawley won the Battle Royal. I couldn't give a flying fuck. Mojo Rawley can't wrestle. He's a terrible, terrible character. I can't believe that WWE are high up on him. I don't know they must be high. Honestly, I mean, it's just fucking madness to me. He won what was a very, very bad Battle Royal. And Jinder Mahal and Mojo Rawley is the final two. Rawley. Just embarrassing, really. We then got Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin that was pushed to the pre-show. Now, there were rumours that the reason it was pushed to the pre-show, and these aren't confirmed, they are simply rumours, is the fact that Dean Ambrose was drunk at the Hall of Fame ceremony. If that is true, and again, I emphasise the fact that it is simply a rumour, I think Dean Ambrose has been a bit unacceptable there. For me, it is the Hall of Fame big ceremony. Don't do an interview with Renee Young completely off your tits. Be respectful. If you want to drink after, if you want to drink during the show, fine. But there's absolutely no requirement for that. And I'm pissed off if that is the case, because it means that Baron Corbin's moment's been stolen. He didn't get the chance to do anything on the main show. He didn't win, and that sucked. And I said as soon as it was on the pre-show, I mean, Baron Corbin's not going to win. And yeah, it's just such a shame, really. The match wasn't great. It never really got going. Ambrose, at this point, he's stale. I'm bored with him. Maybe Baron Corbin doesn't win this because maybe he goes after the World Championship. I don't know. But yeah, this wasn't a great match at all. Probably I don't know what was worse, the Battle Royal of this one, and it ended the kind of pre-show on a poor way. Ambrose the victor. That was one of the predictions I got wrong. Mojo Rawley got wrong as well. Neville I did get right. So at the moment I had one prediction right. But we then move on to the main show. And what a way to kick things off. And I know a lot of people didn't like this match in the build-up, but most people changed their mind after watching it. And I have to say, I am very... I never said that. I know some people didn't. I know KWE still didn't like it. And that's fine. But this, for me, was a fast-paced match. A very, very fun match. AJ Styles and Shane McMahon delivered, in my opinion. Fun spots. Shane McMahon showing he isn't as bad at wrestling as everyone thinks. His punches are still terrible. But, yeah, a lot of people loved this match. A lot of people talking about it match of the night. For me, it was a match of the night. But it was a very, very good match. Fun spots, high spots. Shane McMahon putting his body on the line again. And kind of not keeping up with AJ Styles, but hanging his own. Kind of keeping pace with him at times. And that was very, very impressive to see. AJ Styles with a big win, and I think it's a big win. He beat McMahon at WrestleMania. Big stars do that, and AJ Styles is one of them. I think it's a big win for him. Whether it means he moves now to Raw, I don't know. But yeah, he got the win with a phenomenal forearm. AJ Styles, Shane McMahon hit the coast to coast, missed the elbow drop onto the announce table. Failed the shooting star press. This is a guy who, I don't care what anybody says, is unbelievable in the ring for the simple fact that he is so mad and has no fear. And if you don't respect him for that, then yeah, I don't get that. But unbelievable, some of the stuff. I mean, even the coast to coast. It doesn't matter how many times I see that move. He's still extraordinary. Most people on the main roster wouldn't do that. The elbow drop, another incredible, and the shooting star press. Insane spots. AJ Styles comes out looking strong. McMahon looks valiant in defeat. Looks like the daredevil madman that he is. And I've always liked Shane McMahon, and that won't change. I was over the moon. AJ Styles won. Right decision. And yeah, this match, I think, is not a bad match at all. It gives AJ Styles his first victory at WrestleMania. He can now march on. And yeah, a very, very enjoyable feud for me comes to an end with a very, very good match. And exactly what I said. I told people it wouldn't be a bad match, and it weren't. So I'm glad I don't have to come on here and sort of apologise for being wrong, because I'm not. Moving on, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. I did actually foolishly say on the podcast that this could be match of the year. It wasn't, but it's a very, very good match, and it was a very good start to WrestleMania. Kevin Owens getting the victory cleanly. I was happy about that. A lot of people talking about interference in this match. I knew it wouldn't happen. It didn't. I was right again. Another prediction, I was right. So yeah, Kevin Owens winning the United States Championship. Right decision for him. Whether we see Chris Jericho go off right now, whether he has a rematch with KO, we'll have to wait and see. But it brought to an end a very, very, very good story. Kevin Owens the victor. And Kevin Owens can move on to much better things and hopefully reinvent the United States Championship. First time he's held the United States Championship, would you believe? And yeah, no, a very good match in my opinion. It wasn't amazing, but a good match. I always like Jericho and Owens and their matches. A very good match. For me, Styles McMahon was probably on par. Maybe, I mean, from a technical standpoint, I suppose you would say Owens Jericho was better. I mean, it's difficult to say, but another very, very enjoyable way to start the show. And the show was rocking at this point. And yeah, I think it was a very, very good, because it was one that built up nicely. And I like them type of matches. Again, another shout for match of the night, and a very, very good match, and a fantastic story coming to an end. We then saw the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship, and a lot of people were shitting on this match on Twitter, mainly I think because Sasha Banks went out second. We saw Charlotte and Bayley's last two. Charlotte is incredible. She doesn't get enough credit as she deserves. She is the best character, the best wrestler, incredible in the ring. Okay, maybe she's the best wrestler. You might be thinking, well, Sasha Banks is pretty better in the ring. Yeah, but I mean, altogether, she's got it all. She feels like a legit queen. She feels like a big deal. I was pissed off Nia Jax didn't get a kind of a custom entrance. And let's just say the set was incredible tonight. The lights, the entrances, everything about it was fantastic. Really, really enjoyable. And yeah, I loved that. I thought it was the best set we've ever seen at WrestleMania. But yeah, the entrances for Sasha, Bayley and Charlotte were awesome. Nia Jax went on the tear at the start. That's what I said. They all kind of teamed up to eliminate Nia Jax. Again, what I said. At this point, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be right. There were some really good spots. I think it was like a double kind of suplex, some other stuff as well. Really, really good spots. And all three of them pinning Nia Jax, which was a nice touch. Didn't make Nia Jax look stupid. It'd be interesting to see what Nia Jax does now. Sasha Banks then got eliminated after being smashed onto the turnbuckle. onto the turnbuckle by Charlotte. She then got eliminated, and it was then Charlotte versus Bayley, which I thought was a wasted opportunity. We could still see Sasha Banks turn on Bayley. We could. I think WWE are honestly worried that it would mean that they'd have only really one big face on the roster, because Dana Brooke hasn't really clicked with her as a face yet. Emma will be coming back as evil Emma, so she's not going to be a face. So unless there's somebody coming up to from NXT to the Raw division, then I would be ever so slightly concerned that they're not going to have a face, and that's probably why they're not turning Sasha Banks. But yeah, for me, a very good match. Not as good as the women's match last year, but a good match nonetheless. And built very well, some great spots. We saw Charlotte do a move that is just goddamn so beautiful. That, oh God, my brain's gone blank. But you know what I mean, when she flips off the top rope. But yeah, for me, a very good match, and it was 3 solid matches in a row. We then got exactly what when you talk about WrestleMania moments, this is what you're talking about. I said that there was no chance of the Hardy Boyz being in this match. Whoops! I was wrong. Delete that. Delete what I said there. Jesus Christ. I was wrong, and I am more than happy to admit it. This was a moment and a half. The New Day came out, and it looked as if they were at one point going to announce themselves in, but we all knew it was time for the Hardys. The Hardy Boyz returned. Seeing Matt and Jeff Hardy back in the WWE ring is, and well, it's just fantastic, isn't it? Well, I mean, I love Jeff Hardy. Never really got to see him do much live, because when I watched, he wasn't really there. Matt Hardy, saw a little bit of him, but again, not too much. But I just love them. And the stuff I've seen them do in other companies, the stuff that I've seen them do in the past, unbelievable. This was a moment and a half. The Hardy Boyz are back, baby, and the Raw Tag Team division is on freaking fire. The Club Hardys, what a match. Cesaro, Sheamus, what a match. Loads of great matches that this can turn out, and they returned in their match, in their ladder match, a fantastic match. It was 4 awesome matches in a row. They won the Tag Team Championships. The Hardy Boyz are back. Hopefully Jeff Hardy doesn't break the wellness policy again. But what a moment. The Hardys back at WrestleMania. Absolutely awesome moment. The crowd fucking lost their shit. Bleacher Report's shitting on the match. Well, fuck you, Bleacher Report. It was a great match. The moment didn't, in my opinion, outdo the match. I thought the match very much held its own. We saw a swanton into Cesaro and Sheamus. Matt Hardy was hitting a twist of fate off the fucking ladder. There were some great spots in this matchup. Some really goddamn good spots. And what an awesome, awesome moment. The Hardy Boyz are back. And they're going to dominate the tag team division for a few months. And then maybe, just maybe, we split up and maybe we get to see Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy on WWE television again. And see Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy as singles athletes. See both of them very, very much capable. Matt Hardy, always the kind of understudy to Jeff Hardy, but the work that he did on TNA last year as Brother Nero, wow. He now is well within his right, standing there alongside Jeff Hardy. Then saw the Miz and Maurice versus John Cena and Nikki Bella. I said that the stipulation would hold this back and that they'd never be able to live up to the hype because it was so fucking hyped up. And that was just it was exactly what happened, really. And this match kind of was a bit like, but I suppose it was kind of like bringing us all down after a really, really cool start. Miz and John kind of dominate the in-ring action. Miz was getting pops from the crowd, and he was really playing with that, and I loved that and that. But it was pretty much a relatively quick glorified squash match. Cena and Nikki Bella getting the victory in a match that wasn't that great. John Cena and Nikki Bella. John Cena then proposing to Nikki Bella, which everyone expected to happen. Lovely moment, but I didn't really give 2 craps about it, dare I say it. And yeah, for me it was a bit like, pfft. But I've done that again. But Miz is on fire at the moment, and he's got to be WWE champion and in the picture very, very soon. This is a guy who's got, in my opinion, he's the best heel, best character. And yeah, for me it was a disappointment, but it was never going to live up to the hype. Still, the story leading into WrestleMania was fantastic. Did we get to see John Cena versus The Miz Payback before Cena goes? I don't know, but yeah, Nikki Bella and Cena happily married now, And it was kind of felt like that was the whole point of this, which was kind of a shame, but there you go. We then saw, for me, what was the match of the night, that being Seth Rollins versus Triple H. And, yeah, what an unbelievable match. And it was slow paced, but that's what I really, really enjoyed watching. The whole knee thing and Triple H going to work at it showed why he's the game, showed why he's the cerebral assassin. Stephanie McMahon being ringside as well. We didn't see Samoa Joe. We didn't see Zayn. We didn't see Finn Balor. We didn't see much interference, and that was again another shock, but I was okay with it. Although I was pissed off Joe isn't on the show, I was okay with it. A very, very good match. Thought Triple H was going to win. I think I did actually predict Seth Rollins to win. I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm right again. I was on fire with my predictions at the moment. I think I got pretty much every single one right. Bar obviously Matt Hardy and the Hardy Boyz and the 2 Battle Royal thing. At that point, other than on the main show, other than the Hardy Boyz, I had got everything right to this point. And yeah, it wasn't going to change with Seth Rollins Triple H. Fantastically paced match, slow burner, builds up to a crescendo. The ending was great. Watching Seth Rollins beat Triple H with the pedigree after Stephanie McMahon went through the table was such a beautiful spot. And Seth Rollins finally cements his place as a top face and looks like the guy with a bit of momentum now. And we'll have to wait to see where he goes and what he does with this. But Triple H is beaten by the man he created. Unbelievable stuff. Great story, great conclusion, and whether we see Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe now being the storyline that takes forefront, we'll have to wait and see. It'll be interesting to see what happens on Raw. I probably won't do a Raw preview. I'll do a Raw review, but I probably won't do a Raw preview because it's always impossible to fucking predict stuff, and I'd rather just watch it and then come on and review it, if that makes sense. So I hope you're okay with that. But yeah. The entrance for Triple H, holy shit, what an entrance. It was very, very good. The Rollins entrance was good as well. But yeah, I mean, the entrances were amazing tonight. But the riding on the motorbike or motorcycle with a load of police cars in front doing their sights. Not good for 3 o'clock in the morning, WWE, I might add, because it's very, very loud and people are sleeping. But a very, very good moment. No, fantastic entrance. Triple H always fucking steals the goddamn show with entrances. And a great match, and for me, match of the night. Bray Wyatt then versus Randy Orton. I said this would suck. We said it on the podcast that it would just be something that was just off with it, and it really was. I didn't mind the whole ring changing to, pictures of maggots and crickets and whatever else it was. I didn't mind that at all. I thought that was unique. I thought that was, great that Wyatt was able to do that. His entrance was awesome. Orton's entrance was pretty good as well as Snake. But the match sucked because Randy Orton won just out of literally nowhere. Came literally out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck? And Bray Wyatt didn't get his WrestleMania moment. Bray Wyatt loses at WrestleMania again. Bray Wyatt loses another big match. His title reign is over. They give it back to Randy Orton. Nobody cares. Poor match. Such a shame. That should have been Bray Wyatt's moment, but it weren't. And I'm sorry, but I don't know that I can ever get fully behind Bray Wyatt because I just don't think the company ever will get fully behind him themselves. It did start with high intensity, but it just kind of fell away, really. And such a shame. Randy Orton, the new champ, and I could not honestly care about it enough. What the fuck was that? If I'm honest with you guys, if you just stop watching Seth Rollins WrestleMania, Seth Rollins Triple H at that match, at the conclusion of that match, you'd have been like, yeah, this is one of the best WrestleManias ever, and you'd have probably been okay with it. Look, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, for me as a Lesnar fan, was all so sweet. Seeing Lesnar squash Goldberg very, very quickly was beautiful to see. Although at one point I thought, oh my god, they're going to allow Goldberg to beat Lesnar again, and I was like, Heyman, I was like, oh my god, no. He went through the barricade. He hit with the jackhammer. He kicked out. He then took him to Suplex City, bitch. Goldberg, you're gone, mate. Brock Lesnar just slayed you. The Beast just conquered Goldberg. It's time to retire, bitch. Lesnar just kicked you in the face and took you to Suplex City. And he's a new Universal Champion. Don't mind that. I'd rather Lesnar the champ than Goldberg. I am a Lesnar fan. I can't help it. For me, that's why this match was probably great. If you don't like Lesnar and Goldberg, then you'd have probably said, yeah, this match was absolutely terrible. But because I liked them both, yeah, for me the match was pretty decent, to say the least. So yeah, decent match, although not particularly great. Yeah, it was still a great match. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. What a great match, in my opinion. You know, not in the sense of a technical match, but a showcase. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Lesnar, the Universal Champion, and yeah, boom, the Beast Incarnate, Champion of the World again. And let's move swiftly on to the six-pack challenge for the Women's Championship. Now, some people on Twitter, they convinced themselves this was going to main event the show. I was like, no, this is the toilet break between the main event. And yeah, it was a waste of time, really. It was rushed. That's just the one way to describe it. It was rushed. Naomi won. She got a WrestleMania moment in front of the crowd. She had a very good entrance as well. I like Naomi, don't mind about that. But the match was rushed. A few decent spots, but it was rushed, probably because of time constraints. And I don't really want to talk too much more about it. A lot of work for the women's tag team and the women's tag team, the women's division on SmackDown, and the women's division on Raw, and both the tag team division on SmackDown as well. So lots of work to do. SmackDown got a lot of work to do, even though it's probably been a better show. This was probably up there with the worst match on the thing, because it just felt so goddamn rushed. We then saw Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, which I've spoke about. I'm disappointed with it. I'm disappointed with the way that the show ended. The last two matches kind of sucked dick. Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton kind of sucked. Lesnar, I think he was kind of like the decent part of the post-show. Roman Reigns has main evented 3 WrestleManias in a row. It makes me want to kill myself. But look, I'm not going to get over mad about it. You know, I'm going to just calm the fuck down. I'm pissed off, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. As Paul Heyman would say, I'm just a guy that bitches and moans, and at the end of the day, I don't boycott. So at the end of the day, I haven't really got a leg to stand on. And to be honest with you, I kind of agree, Paul. But what a moment! Hardy Boyz come back, and Undertaker retires. It was a WrestleMania full of great moments, some fantastic matches. It fell away towards the end. It will go down as a WrestleMania where the Undertaker retired. A great show ended very, very sadly. It was the Undertaker's last ride at WrestleMania, and what a career he's had. The greatest of all time hangs up his boots.